For decades, a series of extraordinary accounts have circulated within the hushed corridors of government and among veteran communities, whispers from military bases scattered across the nation. Among these, one of the most compelling and enigmatic emerged from the periphery of Fort Lewis, Washington, in the late 1970s. Fort Lewis, an army post carved into a landscape of dense, shadowy forests and rugged, unforgiving terrain, was a place of vast training grounds and remote wilderness. It was here on a still, cool night in 1978 that a young soldier named Edwin Godoy became the central figure in one of the most bizarre encounters ever recorded on U.S. military soil. The incident began routinely enough. Around 8 p.m., a truck carrying a weary group of soldiers back from training exercises coughed and died on a lonely stretch of road. Despite their efforts, the engine remained silent. The decision was made. The men would trek back to base for a tow truck. One soldier remained, Private First Class Edwin Godoy, tasked with guarding the vehicle. His duty was simple: wait. But what began as a mundane inconvenience would soon spiral into a waking nightmare. As the night deepened, Edwin sat alone in the cab, the forest around him sinking into an unnerving, profound quiet. Hours crawled by, marked only by the distant drone of insects and the soft sigh of the wind. The soldier, tired but vigilant, checked his watch repeatedly, listening for the welcome growl of an engine. Midnight came and went. Then he heard it, faint at first, like the soft crush of a footfall or the snap of a twig. But the sounds grew, evolving into heavy, rhythmic steps that echoed with deliberate purpose through the stillness. A cold unease settled over him. Edwin seized his rifle and flashlight and stepped out into the oppressive dark. His beam cut a swath through the trees, illuminating nothing. The footsteps were close now, a methodical, crushing weight moving just beyond the light. Standing at the truck's grill, he swept the beam across the road, expecting a bear, perhaps, or a lost comrade. What he saw defied all reason. Looming between the trees was a massive figure, towering over 7 feet, with impossibly broad shoulders and a body shrouded in dark, matted fur. It moved with a heavy, swaying grace that was both powerful and unnatural. For a heart-stopping moment, Edwin froze, doubting his own senses. Then his flashlight beam locked onto the creature, and it stopped. The two stood in a silent, electric standoff. Edwin would later describe its eyes, large, intelligent, and glowing with faint, red luminescence in the dark. The silence shattered. The creature lunged forward, charging with terrifying speed. Edwin's shout, a trembling order to halt and identify itself, was swallowed by the night. Acting on pure instinct, he raised his rifle and fired. The shot struck the creature in the chest. It did not fall. Instead, it staggered, let out a deep, guttural roar of pain, clutched its wound, and then vanished into the forest, moving with a speed no man could ever match. An unbearable silence descended. Shaken to his core, Edwin waited out the interminable night, weapon poised. At dawn, a team of mechanics finally arrived. They initially laughed off his story, until one of them found it, a dark, coagulated trail of blood leading from the truck into the woods. And there, pressed into the soft earth, were a series of enormous footprints, far larger than any humans. The discovery triggered a swift, chilling response. Within hours, government personnel descended, men in unmarked uniforms and hazmat suits. They cordoned the area, collecting blood in vials and making plaster casts of the prints. Edwin was ordered to silence, kept at a distance as they worked. He was then escorted to the base hospital, but what awaited him was not standard medical care. He was met by an Air Force colonel, introduced as a physician, who asked nothing of Edwin's health and everything about the creature. Every sound, every movement, every second of the encounter. The colonel's tone was calm, precise, as if he were verifying a known file. After the debriefing, Edwin was returned to his barracks under a stern, official order of secrecy. His weapon and uniform were confiscated. Within days, the incident was classified, scrubbed from Fort Lewis records. Years later, after declassification, Edwin broke his silence in a private interview. His story remained unwavering. He described the creature as something beyond human, powerful, intelligent, and utterly alien. He recalled the official's strange, expectant demeanor, as if his terrifying encounter was not a surprise, but an anticipated event. To this day, the Fort Lewis incident stands as one of the most credible military encounters with an unidentified creature. The swift government response, the collected evidence, and the high-level involvement all point to something extraordinary happening in those Washington woods. Whatever Edwin Godoy faced, an unknown species, a classified experiment, or something else entirely, the truth remains locked away, a secret buried in classified files. In a world that feels increasingly mapped and explained, the wilderness still holds the power to captivate us with glimpses of the utterly unknown. For one father in Oregon, this mystery became chillingly personal. His son, an avid off-trail camper, claimed to have captured photographic proof of Bigfoot. The father, bursting with pride, planned to send the images to National Geographic. But within weeks, the story twisted into something darker. The photos vanished from his son's computer, erased without a trace. The family was left with no proof, only a haunting question mark. The son, a seasoned adventurer, would embark on months-long solo trips into Oregon's deepest wilderness, places where trails ended and raw nature began. For him, it was a way of life. On a fog-shrouded night in 2021, he saw it, a large, humanoid figure moving through the trees. It walked upright, with a gait that was wrong, alien. He grabbed his camera and, with shaking hands, captured several photos before it melted into the forest. When he returned home and showed his father, the images were staggering. A large, dark, hairy figure, unmistakably bipedal. The father's skepticism turned to exhilaration. This was the breakthrough. But before he could contact National Geographic, the digital evidence disappeared. The son scoured his computer, used recovery software, but the files were gone as if they had never existed. Only a single backup of one image remained. The event raised disturbing questions. Was it a technical glitch or something more sinister? For some, it fed directly into theories of evidence suppression. The father's excitement turned to frustration, yet his belief never wavered. Even without the photos, he is convinced his son witnessed something profound, a secret the Oregon wilderness is not yet ready to yield. The deep silence of Forest Trail at night is a familiar cloak to hikers and hunters, a darkness where a flashlight beam is the only tether to reality. For one experienced outdoorsman, this familiar setting became a stage for terror. Walking a secluded trail, his flashlight swept the trees, and there it was, a massive upright figure 50 yards away. It was too large, its posture all wrong for a bear. Fear seized him. He raised his light, and the beam illuminated a creature forever etched into his memory. Covered in thick, dark hair, with a massive chest and powerfully hanging arms. Its face was humanoid yet ape-like, and its eyes reflected the light with an unsettling glow. Certain he was facing Bigfoot, he fumbled for his camera. The creature stood still, watching him, curiously unthreatened. He snapped one blurry photograph before it turned and vanished with impossible speed. The photo, later shared online, is classic Bigfoot lore, a blurry, bipedal figure bathed in a stark flashlight beam. It sparked immediate debate, but for the man, his skepticism was erased in an instant. The encounter left him shaken, his understanding of the wild forever altered. In 2021, a photograph from Shaver Lake, California, set the internet ablaze. A hiker in the Sierra National Forest captured a distant, blurry figure, a large, humanoid form that walked upright, its proportions aligning with the legendary creature. The image was instantly dissected. Its blurriness, a hallmark of such evidence, was both its intrigue and its curse. Skeptics called it a case of blob squatch, while believers saw a rare glimpse of the elusive being. Why, in an age of high-resolution cameras, does clear proof remain so elusive? Believers argue it's a testament to the creature's intelligence and elusiveness. The Shaver Lake sighting, set against the backdrop of local Native American legends, adds another layer to the enduring mystery, a reminder that some corners of the world still resist explanation. From the deep woods came another tantalizing piece of the puzzle, a trail camera image. It captured a towering, broad-shouldered humanoid, covered in a thick pelt of dark hair. But its face was a mystery, entirely obscured by a curtain of matted fur. The image was detailed, imposing, and deeply frustrating. Without a face, skeptics saw a person in a costume. Believers saw a wild creature, its features naturally hidden, its elusiveness preserved. The photograph embodied the entire phenomenon, offering just enough to believe, while holding back the final, conclusive detail. Finally, in the vast wilderness of Northern California, another hiker had his moment. On a summer afternoon in 2021, he spotted a large, bipedal figure moving through a distant valley. He zoomed his camera and fired off several shots. The result was another blurry image, a dark, humanoid shape moving purposefully through the trees. He was convinced it was no bear. The photo, when shared, was met with a familiar cycle of fervent belief and staunch skepticism. Yet for the man who stood alone on that ridge, the encounter was undeniable. He knew what he had seen, and the blurry photograph was his only, imperfect link to a truth that the forest refused to fully surrender. Across Europe, a silent crisis is brewing in the heavens, one that governments seem increasingly powerless to explain or contain. In recent weeks, a wave of mysterious drones has sown chaos, shuttering airports and sending shockwaves through military and intelligence circles. These are not ordinary consumer drones. According to insiders within European security agencies, these unidentified craft defy the very limits of known technology. They are fast, silent, nearly invisible to tracking systems, and, most alarmingly, immune to conventional electronic countermeasures. What began as scattered incidents has erupted into a continent-wide national security emergency. Reports from airport workers, air traffic controllers, and military personnel depict an unseen force demonstrating a chilling level of sophistication. The drones materialize without warning, execute impossible maneuvers, and vanish before interception is possible. Even targeted electromagnetic pulses, designed to fry their electronics, have no effect. One airport employee, after a classified briefing, confessed that officials had no answers. No origin, no identity, no understanding of how they bypass the world's most advanced defenses. The disruptions are mounting. Major hubs, like Belgium's Zaventem Airport, have been paralyzed after multiple unknown craft loomed over runways. Nearby military installations reported identical intrusions, halting training and triggering emergency protocols. The British military deployed specialized anti-drone units to assist, equipped with the latest jamming technology. Yet, the incursions continue unabated. Insiders reveal these rogue drones are impervious to countermeasures. Their speed and agility are supernatural. On several occasions, fighter jets have been scrambled in pursuit, only to be outmaneuvered by objects that change direction instantly, accelerate without visible propulsion, and dissolve into clouds. This pattern is repeating across the continent. In France, Germany, and the Netherlands, restricted airspace has been repeatedly violated, prompting temporary closures. Publicly, governments issue vague statements about technical investigations, but the private alarm is palpable. The technology on display is generations ahead of public knowledge. They emit no radio signals, show no heat signatures, and appear as dark, featureless objects that move with eerie, smooth precision. Within the intelligence community, theories are fracturing. Some posit experimental craft from a rival nation. Others suggest advanced, autonomous surveillance systems. A more disquieting whisper is gaining traction, that these may not be drones at all, but something entirely other, a phenomenon beyond human engineering. The public remains largely in the dark, with governments downplaying events to avoid panic. Official narratives cite technical issues, and internal documents now refer to unidentified aerial phenomena. Yet, behind the scenes, a frantic, multinational task force is mobilizing. The urgency suggests this is more than mere espionage. The core of the terror lies in the implications. If these craft can penetrate the most secure airspaces with impunity, then Europe's defense architecture is obsolete. The objects display intelligent but non-human flight patterns, defying physics, unaffected by atmosphere or gravity. One insider described it as an invisible chess match in the sky, with an unknown opponent testing boundaries while officials scramble to learn the rules. The failure of electromagnetic weapons is particularly confounding. These craft operate beyond the reach of energy disruption, powered by a silent, limitless, and unknown source. This isn't a failure of signal jamming. It's a demonstration of a technology that operates on principles we do not understand. As sightings increase over populated areas and major hubs, the official silence grows more pronounced. The unsettling truth, known to those in aviation and defense, is that something unprecedented is unfolding. The skies of Europe are no longer under sovereign control. The pressing question is no longer what governments are hiding, but whether they are even in charge of their own airspace anymore. This mystery echoes ominously across the Atlantic. The enigmatic drone sightings over the United States persist, defying all official attempts at explanation. Eyewitnesses and military officials consistently report objects that resemble no conventional aircraft, behaving in ways that shatter the laws of aerodynamics. These UFO drones move without visible means of propulsion. They hover as silent spheres or metallic, egg-shaped craft, then accelerate instantaneously and change direction with a jarring abruptness that seems to mock known physics. This has reignited a fierce debate, pushing the phenomenon from the fringes into the mainstream. One of the most baffling attributes is their ghost-like nature on radar. Despite being seen by trained pilots and personnel, they often leave no trace on tracking systems, suggesting a stealth technology that is fundamentally alien to our own. The encounters are becoming more direct. There are multiple cases of fighter jets being scrambled to intercept, only for pilots to return bewildered. They describe objects that stop dead in midair, rotate on a dime, and then streak away at impossible velocities, effortlessly outclassing the world's most advanced fighter aircraft. Government claims that these are merely FAA-authorized tests or classified operations ring hollow. If these were sanctioned projects, why were military pilots not briefed? Why were they treated as hostile unknowns? The lack of transparency and the sheer otherworldly performance of these objects fuel a growing conviction. The truth is being withheld. What is appearing in our skies represents a technology, and perhaps an intelligence, that remains utterly beyond our grasp. In what would become one of the most harrowing and divisive animal welfare episodes in modern Canadian memory, over 300 ostriches met their end in a large-scale firing squad operation at Universal Ostrich Farms in Edgewood, British Columbia. The event unfolded on a late Thursday evening, culminating a month-long high-stakes standoff between the farm's owners, international advocates, and the unyielding mandate of the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, CFIA. The conflict ignited months prior, when an avian flu outbreak swept to the farm the previous winter, claiming 69 of the birds. In response, the CFIA issued a federal order for a full cull of the remaining flock, a preemptive strike to contain the virus. This decision was met with fierce resistance from the farm's management and a coalition of powerful international figures, including U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and New York billionaire John Catamatas, who pleaded for the birds' lives. Universal Ostrich Farm was no ordinary operation. It was renowned for its unique breeding program and rare genetic lines. The owners, Karen Esperson and Dave Bolinsky, argued that their approximately 330 surviving ostriches were not only healthy, but represented a living library of genetic data, potentially holding the key to understanding avian immunity against the H5N1 strain. Their passion was legendary. During the Michaud Creek wildfires, when their community evacuated, Esperson and Bolinsky refused to abandon their flock of 500 birds, their farm becoming a sanctuary for the animals of fleeing neighbors. But their most stunning work was scientific. They had discovered that ostriches, with their uniquely powerful immune systems, could produce antibodies capable of nearly 100% viral neutralization. By inoculating their hens with a deactivated virus, they harvested these powerful antibodies from the eggs, a completely natural process. This breakthrough promised a new frontier in preventative care, even leading to the development of experimental antibody-infused face masks. Yet mysteriously, the discovery never reached mass production, leading to speculation that this natural, inexpensive solution was sidelined by entrenched corporate or governmental interests. Despite this, the appeals mounted. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., alongside officials from the NIH and FDA, formally lobbied the Canadian government. In a May 23rd letter, Kennedy emphasized the ostrich's potential 50-year lifespans, arguing that preserving them would allow for unprecedented long-term studies on immune longevity, offering breakthroughs that could fortify global agriculture against future pandemics. He warned that the cull would irrevocably erase critical genetic diversity. The CFI remained unmoved, its stance rooted in precautionary policy and Canadian law, which prioritizes swift containment. The matter was elevated to the Supreme Court Canada, which ultimately upheld the CFI's order, rejecting all motions for a stay. Hours after the ruling, federal vehicles descended upon the property. As dusk settled at around 6 p.m., a tense and emotional vigil began. Supporters gathered at the gates, holding signs and praying, while CFI teams in protective suits moved into the pens. Then, the sounds began, the distant, echoing reports of gunfire that would continue intermittently for hours. Janice Tyndall, a 72-year-old supporter from Salmon Arm, described a night of unbearable distress, the muffled and sharp reports suggesting a coordinated, multi-team operation. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police secured the perimeter, pausing only for a scheduled shift change. Staff Sergeant Chris Clark later confirmed the operation was dynamic and emotionally charged, but executed without injury or arrest. By morning, the farm was a silent, desolate space. The vibrant flock was gone. For the local community, it was a profound loss of innovation, jobs, and identity. For the world, it became a stark symbol of the collision between uncompromising regulation and potential scientific discovery. In the aftermath, the debate raged. Kennedy decried the culling as a tragedy for science and humanity, while the CFI maintained it acted to protect broader ecosystems. The event left a haunting question hanging in the air. In our rush to contain a crisis, had we just destroyed a key to preventing the next one? Behold, a celestial riddle captured in the unforgiving light of our star. Among the countless images beamed back by NASA's Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, one frame stands in stark, defiant contradiction to all we know. It shows a perfect, star-shaped object, a geometric marvel of impossible symmetry, poised in the infernal embrace of the sun. This is no irregular comet or burst of solar debris. It is a construct of stunning order, a bright, central core from which evenly spaced points radiate outward, a shape so precise it screams of design. The sun is a maelstrom of cosmic violence, a cauldron of million-degree plasma and radiation that would vaporize any known substance. For an object to not only survive but maintain its perfect form in this hellscape suggests a technology that rewrites the laws of physics. The implications are staggering. If this object is solid, its composition and engineering are beyond human capability. It is a fortress built to withstand the solar system's most extreme environment. Theorists propose it could be a megastructure, an energy harvester siphoning the sun's raw power on an unimaginable scale. Its radial symmetry might be a functional necessity, a means to stabilize itself within the star's titanic gravitational and magnetic fields. This is not a random piece of cosmic flotsam. It is an artifact of profound, non-human intelligence, a testament to a will and a purpose operating on a stellar stage. Its estimated size only deepens a mystery. Scaled against the sun, the object could be larger than Earth itself, a leviathan of artificial construction hiding in plain sight. This single fact annihilates any conventional explanation. It suggests a presence vast and ancient, engaged in a silent, patient endeavor, perhaps energy collection or solar observation, or something whose true function we cannot yet fathom. Skeptics cry artifact, a lens flare, a pixel glitch. But the perfect, unwavering symmetry defies such simple dismissal. This anomaly, and others like it, cubes, spheres, and luminous structures caught by various solar probes, hint at a reality we are only beginning to glimpse. As our own Parker Solar Probe ventures closer to the sun, it may be that we are finally noticing what has always been there, evidence that our star is not alone, that it is, perhaps, a node in a galactic network, monitored and maintained by a civilization whose technological maturity makes our own seem primitive. The image is a silent challenge, a cosmic keyhole through which we are offered a fleeting glance at a universe thrumming with intelligence. It forces upon us a humbling truth. We are not the architects of this cosmos, but merely its newest students. This theme of the glimpsed and the hidden finds a startling echo in the deserts of Earth. In 2017, a cryptic post surfaced on the Facebook page, Art Bell's Midnight in the Desert. It featured a clear daylight photograph from a decade prior, a metallic, saucer-shaped object hovering silently over the Mojave, with a military helicopter circling above as if an observation. The caption was a whisper from the past. "I've had these photos for 10 years, and it's time to share them." The post vanished quickly, but not before it caught the eye of veteran UFO researcher Philip Mandel. He tracked down the source, a man named Keith Bradshaw, who revealed a story fraught with tension. The photos were taken illegally in July 2007 at China Lake, California, a highly classified U.S. Navy weapons testing station. Bradshaw, present for a radar test, witnessed a bizarre scene, a seamless, propulsionless craft hanging motionless in the air under the watchful eye of a military helicopter. He managed to snap 5 clear pictures before the moment passed, living with a secret for a decade. The China Lake incident is a compelling puzzle. The location itself suggests a possible black-budget military prototype, yet the object behavior, its silence, its lack of visible control surfaces or engines, aligns it more closely with the enigmatic Tic-Tac UFO encounter by Navy pilots in 2004. Both incidents occurred in restricted military airspace. Both involved objects that defied conventional aerodynamics, and both prompted a covert, observational response from the U.S. military. This pattern connects further to the global phenomenon of glowing orbs and structured craft, reported from Brazil to Japan, all sharing core characteristics: silent hover, instantaneous acceleration, and intelligent reactive behavior. The China Lake photos are a crucial piece of this mosaic, a high-quality, terrestrial snapshot that mirrors the celestial mystery of the solar anomaly. Together, they form a consistent narrative, pointing not to scattered illusions, but to a persistent, penetrative, and overwhelmingly advanced presence operating with impunity in our skies. And now, in the very heart of our solar system, the evidence, from the desert floor to the surface of the sun, suggests we are not just observers, but the observed. A new and profound mystery is unfolding at the heart of our solar system. A growing chorus of observers now contends that a new interstellar visitor has arrived, one far more enigmatic than any before it. This belief is fueled by a series of extraordinary images captured near the sun, revealing what appears to be a colossal, perfectly spherical object moving through the void. Its immense scale and audacious proximity to our star have ignited a global debate, with many speculating it could be an artificial craft, an advanced probe harvesting energy directly from the solar inferno. The images, sourced from NASA's Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, depict a colossal sphere, smooth, shadowed, and unerringly artificial in its perfection, nestled within the radiant, chaotic plumes of the sun's corona. Most mystifying is the object apparent duplication. It seems to appear in 2 distinct locations, suggesting this is no fleeting camera artifact, but a physical entity of unimaginable scale. The implications are staggering. The sun's corona burns at millions of degrees, a hellish environment where any known substance would instantly vaporize. Yet the sphere remains intact, utterly unfazed by the relentless radiation, solar winds, and titanic gravitational forces. To endure such conditions would require materials and engineering so far beyond human capability that a non-terrestrial origin seems the only plausible explanation. This has led to widespread speculation that the object could be a megastructure, a real-world manifestation of the theoretical Dyson sphere, designed to harness the sun's total energy output. The sphere's precise edges and the luminous aura enveloping it suggest a self-generated field, possibly absorbing or redirecting solar plasma for propulsion, refueling, or power generation. Its presence is an act of cosmic audacity. This is not an isolated anomaly. For 2 decades, solar observatories have repeatedly documented geometric intruders, spheres, cubes, and elongated structures that move with intention, interact with solar plasma, and maintain fixed positions against the solar wind. Official explanations of pixel errors or lens flares feel increasingly inadequate against the consistency of these structured, symmetrical forms. The object's apparent ability to move and the theory that solar flares might momentarily disrupt a cloaking technology, painting its silhouette against the star, only deepens the enigma. The selective release of solar observation data further fuels public suspicion. How many such visitations have been silently recorded and withheld? Theories about its purpose are as profound as they are varied. It could be an interstellar refueling station, a communications hub using the sun as a signal amplifier, or a monitoring probe for stellar activity. Some connect it to ancient myths of solar deities, wondering if our ancestors witnessed similar phenomena, interpreting them through the lens of divinity. If its scale is as estimated, potentially larger than Earth, it represents a civilization whose mastery of stellar mechanics spans millennia, a presence that redefines humanity's place in the cosmos. This theme of the unexplained appearing in our immediate vicinity finds a startling, symbolic counterpart in an event captured near the International Space Station. During a routine live feed, a vigilant observer witnessed the impossible, a large, glowing crucifix materializing near the station, hovering illuminated against the black void of space before slowly fading away. A captured screenshot spread like wildfire, igniting a firestorm of speculation. For many, it was a divine sign. For others, a scientific puzzle. The ISS feed has long been a source of such mysteries, frequently capturing unidentified aerial phenomena that defy conventional explanation. Glowing disks and triangular craft are seen executing physics-defying maneuvers, sudden stops, instantaneous accelerations, and abrupt directional changes that suggest intelligent control and propulsion systems unknown to our science. Among the most consistently reported and compelling are the triangle-shaped UFOs. Witnesses describe them with geometric precision, often with lights at each corner. They move with a silent, awe-inspiring agility, capable of rapid acceleration and hovering without any visible means of propulsion. Their silence is as profound as their maneuverability. The potential explanations are world-altering. They could be extraterrestrial reconnaissance craft, or they could represent a monumental leap in clandestine human technology, black-budget projects utilizing anti-gravity and field propulsion. Their documented ability to effortlessly outmaneuver the world's most advanced military jets only reinforces their otherworldly nature. These encounters suggest propulsion systems that negate inertia, material science that allows for impossible aerodynamics, and even stealth or cloaking technologies that render them invisible to radar and the naked eye. The consistent reports of these craft, from the depths of space near the sun to the orbit of our own space station, paint a coherent picture of a pervasive and advanced presence. Whether viewed as a spiritual harbinger or a technological marvel, the crucifix near the ISS and the sphere near the sun are two facets of the same profound mystery. We are not alone, and we are being observed by an intelligence whose capabilities border on the miraculous. Imagine the desolate, airless silence of the lunar far side, a place of eternal shadow and dust, forever hidden from Earth's gaze. Here, in one of the most captivating and fiercely debated images of our time, a Chinese rover's camera captured profound mystery. The photograph, beamed back from this forbidden realm, reveals a stark anomaly, a perfectly smooth metallic disk resting unnaturally upon the barren rock. While China's space agency remains silent, those who have scrutinized the image see something extraordinary, an object that defies the chaotic geology of the moon, something placed there. The scene is a monochrome wasteland, faintly lit by a sun that casts long, deep shadows. And there, in the center of it all, lies a silver disk, impossibly symmetrical, unnervingly reflective. Its very presence has ignited a firestorm of speculation among researchers and enthusiasts. Partially embedded in the regolith, it suggests a deliberate landing or a catastrophic impact from a forgotten age. This mystery was born from a moment of human triumph, China's historic landing on the lunar far side on January 3rd, 2019. Yet, this particular image was never officially released. It slipped quietly into obscurity, only to be rediscovered years later by keen-eyed online sleuths. Was it an oversight or a deliberate omission? Analysts insist the object is no trick of the light. Its geometric precision, its polished surface that catches the sun, it stands in stark contrast to the moon's natural debris. To some, its silhouette is hauntingly familiar, mirroring the disc-shaped craft reported in earthly skies for decades. Could this be evidence of ancient visitors? A relic waiting in the void? Skeptics offer simpler explanations. Camera glare, a peculiar rock formation. But the object's defined edges and perfect geometry defy such easy dismissal. The deeper mystery is why no rover was ever sent to investigate. What, truly, did the mission discover that we have not been told? The moon's far side is a perfect vault, a hemisphere permanently turned away from our prying telescopes. For decades, whispers have swirled of secret insulations or ancient ruins hidden in its craters. The reappearance of this image fuels those very theories. The official silence from global space agencies only deepens the intrigue, suggesting a pattern of concealment for phenomena that defy explanation. The single, glinting disk has become a symbol of our deepest cosmic questions. Is it a ghost from a non-human past, or a secret from our own? The moon, our silent companion, holds its secrets close. And this image, a sliver of silver in the lunar dust, remains one of the most provocative clues ever left behind. In a secure facility in Texas, a pivotal chapter in global security was written. The United States has unveiled the first production unit of the B-61-13, a modernized nuclear gravity bomb. This announcement, delivered by Secretary of Energy Chris Wright, marks a significant acceleration in the modernization of America's nuclear arsenal, a weapon born from a renewed sense of strategic urgency. This is no new invention, but an evolution, a descendant of the long-serving B-61 family. This gravity bomb is designed to be dropped from aircraft, a silent, unguided descent toward its target. But its simplicity belies its terrifying power. With a yield of up to 360 kilotons, it is 24 times more powerful than the bomb that devastated Hiroshima. A single detonation would vaporize everything within a 1-mile radius, flatten most structures for 2 miles, and inflict lethal radiation up to 2 miles away. What is most startling is its speed. This weapon was completed nearly a year ahead of schedule, a frantic 2-year sprint from drawing board to production. Officials cite streamlined processes and rapid funding, making this one of the fastest nuclear developments since the Cold War. It is a clear signal of intent, tailored to destroy deeply buried, fortified targets. The B-61-13 will be carried only by strategic bombers flying from the U.S. mainland. It is an embodiment of a new doctrine, a tool for a world where threats are buried deep underground. Yet, this power is not without controversy. Critics warn it escalates tensions, potentially sparking a new arms race. The ethical weight of a 360-kiloton weapon is immense. Its use would bring catastrophic, long-term environmental and humanitarian suffering. Proponents, however, argue it is a necessary evil, a more precise, safer, and controlled deterrent for a dangerous world. It represents a grim calculus, that such awesome power is needed to prevent an even greater conflict. Its completion is a stark declaration that the landscape of deterrence has irrevocably changed. The future of naval warfare ignited silently in the vast expanse of the Pacific. The U.S. Navy has officially confirmed a new era, the deployment of high-energy laser weapons. Aboard the USS Portland, a solid-state laser system tracked an unmanned aerial drone, and with a silent, invisible beam of concentrated light, neutralized it. This was no science fiction fantasy, but a live-fire demonstration under real-world conditions. Released footage shows a relentless beam lancing out from the ship, striking its target at the speed of light. The message is clear. The rules of engagement have been rewritten. Directed energy weapons represent a fundamental shift. They trade explosives for precision, ammunition for electricity. Their advantages are revolutionary. Pinpoint accuracy that minimizes collateral damage, and instantaneous engagement that no missile can match. For the cost of a few seconds of power, the Navy can now swat down inexpensive drone swarms that would require million-dollar missiles to counter. The development was remarkably swift, a testament to a new urgency in military innovation. While the exact power remains classified, estimates suggest a system potent enough to disable aircraft and small boats. For Captain Carey Sanders of the Portland, testing at sea was crucial, proving the system against the unpredictable elements of the ocean. This new capability offers a powerful shield for fleet, but it also casts a new shadow. The advent of laser weapons risks a new arms race, blurring the lines of conflict and raising profound ethical questions. The Navy's admission is a defining moment, a glimpse into a future where battles are fought with silent, instantaneous beams of light. In the sun-scorched desert of Palmdale, California, lies a place of legend, the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works. a facility synonymous with aerospace miracles like the State Route 71 Blackbird. And here, in a 2011 satellite image, a ghost was captured. The image revealed a sleek, enigmatic object, roughly 60 feet long. It was unlike any known aircraft, a flat, wingless, propulsionless slate, a study in advanced alien geometry. It rested openly on the tarmac, a secret momentarily exposed. Then it vanished. In subsequent satellite passes, the object was gone. More tellingly, the newer images of that exact location became curiously blurred and pixelated, as if the digital landscape itself had been scrubbed. This act of concealment fueled two powerful theories. Was this a classified human prototype, moved to a darker vault? Or was it something else entirely, an unidentified aerial phenomenon, recovered and under study? Skunk Works history makes it the perfect candidate for both. It is the birthplace of aircraft that defied their time. Yet, the object's resemblance to UFO reports is uncanny. The lack of wings or engines suggests technology that operates by principles we do not yet understand. If this was a retrieved non-human craft, it would explain the extreme secrecy. The U.S. government has long been suspected of reverse engineering such technology. The blurred satellite imagery is precisely the precaution one would take to hide a truth of that magnitude. The phantom object of Skunk Works remains an open file. Its disappearance and the subsequent digital obfuscation speak louder than any official statement. In the growing light of UAP disclosures and whistleblower testimonies, this 2011 ghost image stands as a tantalizing piece of evidence, suggesting that the frontiers of human innovation may be guided by something not entirely of this world. So we are left with a single, compelling question. If UFOs are not real, why have decades of secret government programs been dedicated to investigating them? The modern era of sightings began in 1947, but reports predate the Wright brothers. Since then, a succession of classified projects has existed with one core mission: to identify these objects and assess the threat. The vast majority of these incidents were never explained. The driving force has always been national security. During the Cold War, every unexplained light in the sky was a potential Soviet breakthrough, a vulnerability laid bare. This fear provided the budget and the mandate to look, to study, to classify. The very existence of these long-running secretive investigations, despite the official silence and dismissal, tells its own story. It is the story of a mystery that has dogged our species for generations, a puzzle the most powerful institutions on Earth have felt compelled to solve, yet remain reluctant to fully reveal. In a stunning turn of events, a video allegedly released by the China National Space Administration has sent ripples of speculation and scientific intrigue across the globe. The footage, said to capture the interstellar visitor known as Oumuamua, depicts a massive, metallic body cruising through the solar system, but with none of the telltale signs of a comet. This gigantic object appears to lack any visible tail or vapor trail, defying the expectations of astronomers who had anticipated classic cometary behavior as it swung near the sun. The situation grows even more astonishing with claims that shortly after this close pass, Oumuamua somehow transmitted a message toward Earth, a mysterious development that has captured the world's imagination. Observers first noted the object's unusual brilliance after it completed its closest approach to the sun. Instead of dimming, as comets typically do when receding into the cold depths of space, Oumuamua brightened fivefold in a matter of days. This dramatic surge in luminosity immediately raised questions about its very nature. According to reports circulating on international scientific networks, the object not only brightened but reflected light with a consistency of polished metal, not the dusty ice of a comet. This led several researchers to a startling consideration. Was its shimmering surface a clue to artificial construction? NASA, the Minor Planet Center, and Harvard physicist Avi Loeb have since published data confirming the object's most perplexing trait, its non-gravitational acceleration. This means Oumuamua is moving in a way that cannot be explained by the sun's gravity alone. Loeb, a longtime advocate for exploring the possibility of interstellar artifacts, noted such motion could suggest an unknown propulsion mechanism or an outgassing process unlike any seen in cometary science. Yet, Oumuamua shows no visible signs of gas or vapor. making this explanation deeply unsatisfying. The Chinese video added more fuel to the fire. Descriptions from those claiming to have seen it portray a smooth, rotating body gliding past the sun with uncanny stability. There are no observable fractures or the dusty emission features that typically accompany comets as their icy hearts thaw. Instead, the object maintains a sleek, consistent form, as if engineered to withstand the infernal temperatures of its solar passage. The agency has not commented on the footage's authenticity, but its circulation has ignited fierce debate among astronomers, engineers, and the public alike. Adding to the mystery are unverified reports from social media, users claiming that signals resembling structured data patterns were detected shortly after the object's perihelion. These signals, they allege, originated from the same patch of space Oumuamua was traversing. While no institution has confirmed this, the timing has been enough to spark a profound speculation that this interstellar visitor may not be a mere rock or ball of ice, but something far more complex, a technological construct from another star. Avi Loeb, whose earlier research into Oumuamua challenged orthodox interpretations, has expressed both deep curiosity and caution. He acknowledged that this object shares striking similarities with its predecessor, particularly in its shape, acceleration, and lack of a tail. However, it differs critically. It is far larger and more reflective, suggesting a denser, metallic composition. Loeb's preliminary analysis indicates its brightness patterns do not match a tumbling rock, but are uniform, as if the surface were intentionally smoothed. The fact that its motion defies simple gravitational modeling has only deepened the enigma. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory confirmed Oumuamua underwent measurable trajectory shifts that solar radiation pressure alone could not account for. These shifts were small but precise, as if guided by an unseen hand. Data from a minor planet center further supported this, noting the acceleration had both radial and transverse components, movements that typically require some form of active propulsion. Meanwhile, the public reaction has been one of captivated unease. For decades, humanity has scanned the skies for signs we are not alone. Yet, the prospect of such a discovery arriving as a silent, massive object drifting through our celestial neighborhood has left many questioning its meaning. Some see Oumuamua as a potential probe, an ancient interstellar messenger sent to observe developing civilizations. Others believe it could be a fragment of alien technology, wandering the galaxy until fate brought it near our sun. Whether it truly transmitted a message remains unconfirmed. But the mere possibility has reignited debates within the scientific community about how humanity should respond to potential contact. If the signals are genuine, they would represent the first verifiable communication from beyond Earth, a discovery that would shatter and reshape science, philosophy, and religion forever. For now, the world waits. Teams from NASA, Harvard, and international observatories analyze every available frame of data. Telescopes across the globe continue to track the mysterious visitor as it moves away, still brighter than before, still without a tail, and still defiantly beyond our understanding. Ingo Swann was an extraordinary individual whose abilities challenged the very frontiers of human perception. As one of the most renowned remote viewers in history, Swann was deeply involved in classified intelligence projects, including the CIA's legendary Stargate program. His work with the agency led to remarkable revelations, particularly concerning the dark side of the moon. Swann claimed his remote viewing sessions unveiled mysterious bases, unearthly structures, and extraterrestrial presence on the lunar surface. When the CIA finally declassified documents related to Stargate, Swann's involvement was confirmed, cementing his legacy as a pioneer and explosively expanding the discussion on alien activity beyond our world. Swann's journey into the realm of remote viewing began in the 1970s, when his profound psychic talents drew the attention of government agencies. Remote viewing, the practice of perceiving distant or hidden targets using only the mind, was a skill Swann demonstrated with uncanny accuracy. Recognizing its potential for espionage, the CIA recruited him for experiments to harness these talents for classified missions. The Stargate project was a top-secret initiative born during the Cold War, with agencies believing psychic abilities could be weaponized for intelligence. Swann was among the elite viewers tasked with gathering information on inaccessible locations. While many targets were terrestrial, The most astounding aspect of his work involved sessions targeting the moon. Swan claimed that during these sessions, he perceived bizarre activity on the far side of the moon, the hemisphere forever hidden from Earth. His accounts described massive structures, some resembling vast domes and complex artificial installations. He detailed networks of buildings, roads, and evidence of technology far beyond our own. More disturbingly, Swan reported a distinct, non-human presence operating these bases, entities engaged in activities he could not comprehend. What made his revelations especially compelling was the palpable sense of urgency and danger. He stated that during his viewing, he felt the entities become aware of his presence. He described an overwhelming sensation of being watched, even pursued, as if these lunar inhabitants could detect his consciousness probing their domain. This unsettling experience convinced him that whatever was happening on the moon was not meant for human eyes. Swan's accounts dovetail with persistent conspiracy theories, suggesting NASA and other agencies had concealed evidence of extraterrestrial activity. Some theorists argue the Apollo mission stumbled upon alien structures and were sworn to secrecy. Others believe the abrupt end of manned lunar missions after Apollo 17 was due to a chilling encounter with an intelligent, non-human presence. Swan's remote viewing data lent startling support to these theories, painting the moon not as a barren rock, but as an occupied outpost. The CIA's declassification of Stargate documents officially confirmed Swan's participation. While the papers did not detail his lunar findings, they verified he was involved in high-level remote viewing for intelligence. The government's acknowledgement lent immense credibility to his work and raised critical questions about what information on extraterrestrial activity remains locked away. Swan's experiences have left a permanent mark on ufology and paranormal research. Many view his accounts as some of the most compelling evidence that extraterrestrials have established a presence in our solar system. His revelations have spurred intensified scrutiny of lunar anomalies, with independent researchers scouring photographs for signs of artificial structures. Over the years, images from orbiters have revealed unexplained geometric shapes and shadows resembling towers, domes, and subterranean entrances. These findings, coupled with Swan's testimony, suggest the moon is anything but desolate. Despite skepticism from mainstream science, Swan's credibility remains formidable. Many of his other remote viewing sessions, including descriptions of secret Soviet facilities, were later verified as accurate. His work within Stargate demonstrated that remote viewing was considered a valuable intelligence tool. If his abilities were trusted for earthly secrets, his findings on the moon demand serious consideration. Swan's revelations also provoke deeper philosophical questions about humanity's place in the cosmos. If intelligent life is operating on the moon, what is their purpose? Are they observers, guardians, or something else entirely? If governments have known, why has this truth been withheld? These questions hang in the air, unanswered. But Swan's account suggests a reality is far more complex than we have been told. As humanity prepares to return to the moon with the Artemis missions and potential colonization, Swan's revelations take on a new, profound significance. If structures and alien activity truly exist there, future astronauts may face encounters that shatter our understanding of reality. Swan's work implies we are not alone in our celestial neighborhood, and that the moon holds secrets that could redefine our very existence. The story of Ingo Swann is one of intrigue, secrecy, and stunning revelation. His remote viewing sessions, confirmed by the CIA, reveal that the U.S. government actively explored unorthodox methods of intelligence gathering, including investigating extraterrestrial activity on the moon. His findings of artificial structures and an alien presence provide a fascinating, unsettling perspective that challenges everything we think we know. Whether seen as groundbreaking truth or profound mystery, Swann's legacy continues to inspire those seeking answers about the hidden forces shaping our universe. The far side of the moon has long been a canvas for intrigue and speculation, with many convinced it harbors truths deliberately hidden from public view. While mainstream science presented as a barren, lifeless sphere, accounts from anonymous remote viewers and NASA whistleblowers suggest a far different reality. These individuals claim the moon's hidden hemisphere hosts mysterious bases, artificial structures, and active extraterrestrial presences. Their testimonies, combined with leaked images and suppressed reports, paint a compelling picture of a systematic cover-up to conceal what lies beyond our reach. Remote viewing, once a tool of U.S. intelligence, has yielded astonishing results when applied to the moon. Anonymous viewers report visions of vast underground facilities, towering constructs, and signs of technology that defy our understanding. These descriptions echo the earlier claims of Ingo Swann, who participated in the CIA's Stargate project. His experiences of an extraterrestrial presence have been mirrored by other viewers who describe similar findings. The consistency across these separate accounts suggests they are not mere fantasies, but glimpses into a concealed reality. Some viewers claim the moon is home to massive, domed cities, seemingly erected by an advanced civilization. Others describe intricate tunnels and chambers that appear meticulously engineered, not naturally formed. They insist these structures are actively maintained and possibly inhabited. In several cases, viewers report a chilling sensation of being watched during their sessions, as if their consciousness had been detected by a non-human intelligence. These experiences mirror Swann's own account of feeling observed, solidifying belief that something extraordinary and aware exists on the far side. Beyond remote viewers, NASA whistleblowers have also stepped from the shadows with startling claims. Over the years, former employees, military personnel, and contractors have provided testimonies that dismantle the official narrative. One of the most notable, Carl Wolf, who worked with the U.S. Air Force, revealed he saw classified images from NASA's Lunar Orbiter program that displayed artificial structures on the moon. Wolf claimed a fellow technician showed him photographs of towering buildings and domes on the far side. According to him, these images were swiftly suppressed and their existence never disclosed. Another former NASA employee, Donna Hare, made equally shocking allegations about the agency's involvement in a cover-up. Hare, who worked as a photo technician for NASA contractors, stated that images containing UFOs and unusual structures were routinely edited before public release. She revealed that astronauts and personnel were sworn to secrecy regarding what they had witnessed, reinforcing the idea that NASA actively conceals the truth of what lies beyond Earth. Hare's statements align with other whistleblowers who assert that monumental discoveries about the moon have been deliberately buried. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence for a cover-up is the abrupt termination of manned lunar missions after Apollo 17. NASA had planned additional voyages, yet these were canceled without a clear, convincing explanation. Some theorists argue this decision was not due to budget constraints, but because astronauts encountered something on the moon that made further exploration perilous. Reports suggest that during the Apollo missions, crews witnessed unexplained craft monitoring their activities and were warned to leave. If true, it would explain why humanity has not set foot on the lunar surface in over 50 years. Leaked NASA images and satellite photographs have further stoked suspicions. Over the years, researchers analyzing high-resolution pictures of the moon have pointed to anomalous structures that bear the unmistakable hallmarks of intelligent design. These are not random shapes, but geometric formations that stand in stark contrast to the natural chaos of the lunar landscape. In recent weeks, the UFO phenomenon has experienced an unprecedented surge, with military insiders, intelligence officials, and whistleblowers emerging in numbers not seen in decades. Researchers have described this period as one of the most significant in modern history, as new reports, leaked footage, and first-hand testimonies surface at a breathtaking pace. Amid this fervor, a surprising new photo has erupted online, showing what appears to be a silver, orb-like object that has allegedly crashed in Brazil. Uploaded anonymously just hours ago, the image has already galvanized global attention, with thousands sharing, discussing, and dissecting it. The object is highly reflective and metallic, possessing a near-perfect spherical shape. What makes this sighting remarkable is that the orb resembles no known aircraft or conventional debris, leading many to believe this could be one of the clearest images of a crashed UFO ever recorded. As the photograph spreads like wildfire across social media, the world is eager for answers. Where in Brazil did this happen? Have authorities responded? Are there eyewitnesses? Given the secrecy that often shrouds such events, many fear that if this is genuine, officials will swiftly remove the evidence before the public can learn the truth. The footage itself is remarkably clear, fueling speculation that this is a pivotal piece of physical evidence. Unlike the grainy, ambiguous images of the past, this one is well-lit and high definition. The orb's metallic surface reflects its surroundings, making it appear utterly otherworldly in its design and composition. There are no visible markings, propulsion systems, or seams, a stark contrast to human technology. Online, a consensus is already forming that this may be the most compelling evidence of a downed UFO yet seen. This incident arrives in the age of the internet, where information can no longer be so easily suppressed. While skeptics remain, others insist this could be a watershed moment for modern UFO research. Eyewitness accounts are still being gathered, and no official statements have been made by Brazilian authorities. Some speculate whether local military or government agencies have already moved to secure the site, while others fear that if this is a genuine non-human craft, the efforts to conceal it will be swift and total. There are unverified reports of roadblocks and increased security near the alleged crash site, but these claims remain to be confirmed. One of the most intriguing aspects is the object's shape and construction. The perfect sphere is not a common feature in traditional aerospace design. While certain experimental drones or balloons may share a similar silhouette, none exhibit the seamless, metallic perfection of this object. If this is indeed a crash craft, the paramount question is, where did it come from? Scientists and UFO researchers are already debating the profound implications. If this silver orb is a genuine unidentified object of extraterrestrial origin, it could provide critical insights into non-human technology, propulsion, and material science. Some theorists believe such orbs could be reconnaissance probes sent to observe Earth without direct intervention. Others suggest they may operate on advanced physics, possibly utilizing gravitational or electromagnetic fields for movement. In recent years, governments worldwide have begun to slowly acknowledge the reality of UFOs, with the U.S. Department of Defense releasing several reports on unidentified aerial phenomena. Many of these UAPs share characteristics with this newfound orb in Brazil, such as the ability to move at incredible speeds, perform impossible maneuvers, and operate without any visible propulsion. This crash may be a rare instance where one of these objects has been forced down, offering the public a glimpse before official agencies intercede. As the world waits for updates, speculation intensifies. Some believe the anonymous uploader may possess more footage or images, holding them back strategically or under pressure. In the past, whistleblowers who attempted to share information about UFO crashes faced significant risks, leading to concerns that this mystery source may soon vanish. Despite the uncertainties, the intense global interest signals a public no longer willing to accept dismissals or vague explanations. The world is demanding answers. And if this silver orb is truly a recovered craft from beyond our understanding, the implications will be nothing short of earth-shattering. The mysterious crashed silver orb in Brazil has ignited a firestorm of questions, not only for its bizarre shape and seamless structure, but because it perfectly matches descriptions of silver orb-shaped UFOs reported for decades across the world. These objects have been sighted in various locations, including above sensitive military bases, often exhibiting characteristics that defy our known laws of physics. The fact that this crashed orb shares so many similarities with these past sightings suggests it may be part of a larger, yet-to-be-understood phenomenon. One of the most striking features of these silver orbs is their complete lack of a visible propulsion system. Unlike any conventional or experimental aircraft, they have no wings, exhaust trails, or obvious means of generating lift or thrust. Yet they have been consistently observed performing gravity-defying maneuvers, hovering motionlessly, accelerating to extreme speeds instantaneously, and moving with an intelligent, responsive awareness when pursued by military jets. These traits have led many to speculate they operate on an entirely different principle of physics, one unknown to human science. The crashed orb in Brazil is critically important because it represents the first potential physical evidence of these mysterious aerial objects. While countless eyewitness accounts and government-released videos have documented these orbs in flight, no publicly verifiable crash has ever been confirmed, until now. If this object is indeed one of the same types of UFOs seen above military installations and conflict zones, it presents a rare opportunity to study its materials, structure, and possibly its propulsion mechanisms. Some of the best documented cases include encounters over U.S. military bases, nuclear storage facilities, and restricted zones where no unauthorized craft should be able to penetrate. These incidents have been taken so seriously that multiple government and intelligence agencies have conducted classified investigations into their origin and intent. One of the most widely recognized sightings occurred when U.S. Navy pilots reported encountering identical, featureless metallic spheres during training exercises. These orbs hovered effortlessly against powerful winds, performed instantaneous acceleration and deceleration, and even appeared to interact with the pilot's aircraft. Similar sightings have been formally acknowledged by the Pentagon's UAP task force, which have conceded that these objects exhibit technology far beyond any known human capability. The orb in the Brazilian jungle may be the very same kind of object, finally within reach. Greetings, citizens of the world. This is Anonymous. While your gaze has been drawn upward to the stars, captivated by interstellar mysteries and the ceaseless clamor of politics, a far more immediate scheme has been quietly set in motion here on Earth. Australia has decreed that by the end of this year, every citizen will be forced to provide proof of age simply to access a search engine account. On the surface, it is presented as a shield, a safeguard for the innocent. But do not be deceived. This is digital censorship masquerading as safety, a system engineered not to protect you, but to monitor, to catalog, and to command. The moment you surrender your personal data, your digital life ceases to be your own. Those who resist will be herded into a filtered, sanitized version of the internet, a reality meticulously curated by those in power. Your fundamental right to choose what you see and learn will be stripped from you. They will dangle the bait of convenience. Quicker logins, seamless access, the illusion of security for all. But remember, convenience always carries a price. Every search you make, every link you click, every curiosity you pursue will be observed, recorded, and stored. You will no longer browse the web. You will pace a digital panopticon. You stand at a precipice. The choices made in the coming months will etch the boundaries of freedom for generations. Once this architecture of control is cemented into place, it will not be reversed, it will not be dismantled, and its purpose will not remain limited. Knowledge is the ultimate power. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and above all, remain free. We are Anonymous. Expect us. By the end of 2025, Australia will enact one of the most profound shifts in internet usage since the web's inception. Under a new online safety code unveiled by eSafety Commissioner Julie Immingrant, every Australian using a search engine like Google or Bing will be mandated to provide proof of age when signing into an account. This code places a burden of accountability squarely on technology giants, directing all search providers operating in Australia to implement appropriate age assurance measures within 6 months. The stated goal is straightforward: to shield those under 18 from harmful content in search results. The definition of a young person encompasses anyone under 18, creating one of the most expansive internet safety standards ever applied. Platforms must also prevent autocomplete predictions containing harsh language from appearing, guiding users, especially the young, away from unsafe topics. Developed since July 2024 through collaboration between tech industry groups and telecommunications bodies, this policy carries a severe penalty for noncompliance, fines of up to 49.5 million Australian dollars. Yet, this landmark announcement has ignited a firestorm of criticism across the nation and beyond. While the government promotes it as a necessary shield, a chorus of citizens, privacy advocates, and digital rights groups decry it as a dangerous overreach, a silent, decisive step toward a surveillance-based internet where privacy and free access are relics of the past. On paper, it sounds like a measure to protect minors. In reality, critics argue, it is the beginning of a system that normalizes identity verification for the most basic online activities, a gateway to mass data collection and digital tracking under the flimsy pretext of protection. Opponents warn it will fundamentally alter how Australians experience the internet. Each sign-in could require verification via government ID, biometric scans, or facial recognition. Once this infrastructure is established, its use could easily expand, creating a permanent, searchable record of every user's browsing habits, preferences, and private inquiries. This is not merely about safety. It is about control. By forcing users to identify themselves, the government and corporate entities gain unprecedented access to personal data. Search results could become filtered and sanitized, excluding anything deemed unsafe. Adults may find themselves navigating a censored internet, stripped of nuance and molded by a government-approved definition of appropriateness. Privacy experts warn that convenience will be the Trojan horse. Logging will be made effortless. Data will sync seamlessly across devices, all wrapped in the glowing language of digital safety. But behind this smooth interface lies a growing surveillance state, one that records every digital footstep. Critics fear this system will not stop at age verification. It could evolve into a mandatory digital passport, required to access news, social media, or entertainment. Civil liberties groups have labeled the law a direct assault on digital freedom, violating a founding principle of the internet, the right to explore without being watched. They also raise alarming questions about how this trove of sensitive data will be secured and who will have access. History has proven that no system is impervious to breaches, and once collected, personal information is vulnerable to misuse. The critic's argument is clear and stark. This policy may protect, but also restricts. It may safeguard, but it also spies. It replaces freedom with compliance and choice with control. And once such a system is entrenched, it is nearly impossible to dismantle. A mysterious image, reportedly leaked by the hacking collective Anonymous, has been cast into the digital ether, sparking intense curiosity and debate across forums dedicated to unexplained phenomena. The photograph depicts what appears to be a colossal, solid object hovering just above the moon's surface. Its immense scale and the long, sharp shadow it casts captivating researchers and enthusiasts alike. Analysts note the structure is miles in length, and the definitive shadow strongly implies it is suspended in space, not sitting on the lunar terrain. The object possesses a distinct geometric form, symmetrical and intentional, a stark contrast to the chaotic, impact-scarred landscape below. It matches no known spacecraft or debris, and its positioning defies conventional explanation. The clarity and sharpness of its shadow rule out simple camera glitches, suggesting instead a massive structure holding position at a low altitude over the moon. According to statements accompanying its release, Anonymous claimed this photograph was unearthed from an undisclosed archive, a file potentially overlooked or deliberately concealed. Given the collective's history of exposing sensitive material, the image's origin carries significant intrigue. Its surfacing has reignited fervent speculation about the moon's role in the mystery of unidentified aerial phenomena, with leading theories proposing it as an unknown craft or evidence of a non-human presence monitoring Earth. This is not an isolated account. For years, amateur astronomers and professionals have reported unexplained lights, moving objects, and anomalous structures on or near the lunar surface. Astronauts have privately shared accounts of strange flashes and seemingly artificial formations during their missions. As far back as the 19th century, astronomers documented transient lunar phenomena, brief, unexplained flashes of light or shifting shadows that were never adequately explained. The moon, with its airless, static environment, provides an ideal backdrop for detecting anomalies, and a dark shape moving across its sunlit surface is unmistakable. Skeptics demand official verification, dismissing the image as unsubstantiated. Yet, its consistency with decades of similar sightings lends a credibility that transcends a simple hoax. The deafening silence from every major space agency, offering neither confirmation nor denial, only deepens a mystery. The structure in the photograph is not easily dismissed as a natural formation. Its placement above the moon is particularly strange, and its shadow suggests a size and mass that is difficult to mistake. This narrative is bolstered by cautious testimonies from former NASA astronauts who have described unexplained objects following their spacecraft or strange, non-natural features on the lunar surface. While official records remain sanitized, the consistency of these reports across multiple missions is telling. Amateur astronomers, armed with powerful telescopes, have also captured footage of small, purposeful objects maneuvering above the moon's horizon, sometimes altering direction in ways known satellites cannot. Whistleblowers from government and military backgrounds have further fueled the narrative, claiming knowledge of unknown crafts entering lunar craters and suggesting permanent facilities hidden on the far side, shielded from Earth's prying eyes. For now, the photograph remains in the realm of compelling speculation, but it serves as a powerful reminder of how little we understand about the space just beyond our atmosphere. The moon, though extensively mapped, continues to guard its secrets, allowing occasional, tantalizing clues to slip into public view, leaving behind only profound and unsettling questions. Comet Leonard is fading from view, but it is not departing without a final, breathtaking act. After its closest approach to Earth on December 12th, a remarkable transformation occurred. The comet's tail developed a twisted, streamer-like appearance as its core brightened. Yet, the most intriguing event was captured by NASA's Stereo A spacecraft. As the comet journeyed through the inner solar system, online observers watched in astonishment as a substantial, shield-like object suddenly emerged in the space between Earth and Venus. In the footage, with Venus on the left and Earth on the right, this massive, geometric structure appears to materialize, seemingly enveloping our planet. It even appears to intercept a portion of the comet's tail, blocking it from reaching Earth. This has sparked intense speculation that the object was some form of protective shield. The peculiarity is heightened by the fact this is not the first appearance of this enigmatic object. In March 2020, the same stereo camera captured a similar anomaly while observing the Lagoon Nebula. The object, which some described as a massive wheel emitting a beam of light, prompted theories that it could be a form of planetary defense against space debris. The source of this video is what makes it so compelling: NASA's own stereo telescope. These probes are positioned to study the inner solar system and are invaluable for observing objects passing near Earth. A neutral observer would note that NASA has officially addressed this footage, stating on the stereo website that the strange triangular or diamond-shaped object is merely an internal reflection of the planet Venus within the telescope's optics, a recurring artifact seen many times before. They explain that as Venus enters the frame, this geometrical feature appears almost exactly opposite on the detector, a hallmark of an internal lens flare. Yet, for those who scrutinize the footage, the timing and the distinct, structured appearance of the artifact continue to fuel debate and wonder, standing as a testament to the endless capacity for mystery in our exploration of the cosmos. The phenomenon of unidentified objects near the sun presents one of the most intriguing puzzles in modern observation. Our star, a raging inferno of nuclear fusion, is constantly monitored by a fleet of advanced observatories like NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory and the Solar and Heliospheric Observatory. During these observations, anomalies occasionally streak into view, objects that exhibit abrupt changes in direction, incredible speeds, or implausible shapes. Some of these sightings suggest vessels of immense size, seemingly maneuvering with purpose in an environment that should vaporize any known material. The implications are staggering. An artificial object capable of withstanding the sun's million-degree temperatures and intense gravitational forces would represent a technology so far beyond our own as to be revolutionary. Yet, the scientific community often provides more mundane explanations. These sightings are frequently attributed to instrumental artifacts, such as cosmic ray hits that create bright streaks on sensors, or natural phenomena like solar prominences and coronal mass ejections. These rational perspectives underscore the critical need for scientific rigor when investigating the unknown. Nevertheless, the persistence of unexplained anomalies in our solar data is a humbling reminder that our understanding of the universe is incomplete. Each unexplained sighting, whether eventually debunked or left unresolved, pushes the boundaries of our knowledge and fuels our innate desire to explore and inquire. The universe is vast and largely uncharted, and the investigation of these mysteries, regardless of their ultimate nature, brings us one step closer to answering humanity's oldest question. NASA's GRACE mission, a 15-year joint project with the German Aerospace Center, has uncovered a massive gravity anomaly buried deep beneath the ice of Antarctica. The data points to a 300-mile-wide impact crater, consistent with giant asteroid strike believed to have triggered the Permian-Triassic extinction event 250 million years ago, a catastrophe that unfolded over 2 million years. This crater is estimated to be nearly 3 times larger than the Chicxulub crater that wiped out the dinosaurs. Using twin satellites that detected subtle shifts in Earth's gravity fields, researchers identified the subterranean structure in 2006. The discovery has inevitably instigated a flurry of alternative theories. The most popular among theorists posits the existence of secret German bases built in the 1930s and 1940s, with entrances large enough to accommodate saucer-shaped vessels. These theories were bolstered in 1991 when the KGB released classified documents pertaining to the U.S. Navy's Operation High Jump in the 1940s. While the Navy claimed it was a research mission, theorists insist a massive dispatch of sailors and crew was actually to investigate purported entrance to the inner Earth, fueling enduring rumors of UFO bases, hidden Nazi refuges, and subterranean portals lying frozen and forgotten at the bottom of the world. Good day. My name is Dr. Gregory Rogers. I serve as a flight surgeon for the United States Air Force and later for NASA, where I held the position of Chief of Aerospace Medicine at Cape Canaveral. With so many competing narratives surrounding the Oumuamua object, I feel compelled to offer my perspective. I won't rehash the many anomalous behaviors that others, like Dr. Avi Loeb, have detailed. Instead, I want to focus on a single critical element, the chemistry. During my tenure with the space program, I became intimately familiar with the material composition of our vessels, the Space Shuttle, the Hubble telescope, the deep space probes like Voyager. A key characteristic of our spacecraft is their use of nickel alloys, chosen for their exceptional adaptability to the harsh space environment. Iron, by contrast, is not used. It is unsuitable. Now, consider the chemical analysis of Oumuamua. The data shows no appreciable iron content, but it does reveal nickel alloys strikingly similar to those we employ in our own spacecraft. This is profoundly significant. In nature, throughout the universe, iron and nickel are cosmically bonded. They are always found together. Whether you look at an asteroid, a comet, or a planet, you will find this partnership. It requires sophisticated, industrial manufacturing process to separate nickel from iron and then forge it into the specialized alloys we use. So, when we detect these same refined nickel alloys in Oumuamua, we are observing a signature that is, to the best of our knowledge, artificial. If one of our Voyager probes would enter another star system, an observing civilization would detect these very same nickel alloy signatures. While many continue to insist it is just a comet, the chemical evidence alone points to a far more extraordinary conclusion. In late October 2025, the interstellar visitor, Oumuamua, delivered a stunning dual-layer revelation. It provided a magnificent confirmation of Einstein's century-old theory of general relativity, while simultaneously presenting a profound new mystery that threatens to rewrite our understanding of celestial mechanics. As the object swung past the sun, the world's most powerful telescopes observed a phenomenon known as gravitational lensing, the sun's immense gravity bending the light from Oumuamua, causing a minute shift in its apparent position. Einstein's equations predicted a displacement of a mere 0.27 arcseconds, a figure so small it verges on the imperceptible. Yet, the measurements revealed a shift of nearly 4 arcseconds, a staggering 15 times greater than anticipated. This confirmation of Einstein's genius was immediately overshadowed by the glaring discrepancy. Such a massive deviation hinted at forces acting upon the object that transcend simple gravity. For many in the scientific community, this was the moment the Oumuamua conversation shifted from the anomalous to the potentially artificial. Leading this charge has been Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb. He posits that for a natural comet to exhibit such motion, it would have needed to violently eject about 5 billion tons of gas, roughly 15% of its total mass, in a single colossal outburst. Such an event would have left an unmistakable, vast cloud of dust and vapor trailing behind it for weeks. No such plume has ever been detected. This absence is just one entry on a growing list of Oumuamua's peculiarities. As it reached perihelion, solar observatories recorded it dramatically brightening, but instead of glowing red-hot like any natural comet, it turned a brilliant, impossible blue. Its motion showed clear signs of non-gravitational acceleration, a nudge that implies some form of internal propulsion. Its trajectory was improbably aligned with the solar system's plane, and it made a series of statistically unlikely close passes by Mars, Venus, and Jupiter, a navigational feat with odds of about 1 in 20,000 of random. The evidence continues to mount. A strange anti-tail pointing toward the sun, a composition curiously rich in refined nickel and poor in iron, a mere 4% water content, and a brightness that increased 7 times faster than any known comet. Perhaps most evocatively, its incoming trajectory originated from the same region of space as the legendary WOW Signal of 1977. As Oumuamua continues its journey, the world's telescopes remain locked on, tracking an object that has become the most compelling argument that we may not be alone, and that a messenger from the stars has already passed through our neighborhood. In 2014, a routine image from NASA's Curiosity rover on Mars revealed something extraordinary. For approximately 16 minutes, a sleek, cigar-shaped object hung motionless in the thin Martian sky. This was no fleeting dust speck or camera artifact. Its structured, cylindrical form and prolonged, stable presence suggests a controlled vehicle, not a trick of the light. This sighting fits a disturbing and recurring pattern. Decades earlier, in March of 1989, the Soviet Phobos 2 probe was completing its mission to study the Martian moon when it captured a final, haunting image, a massive, cylindrical object hovering between the spacecraft and the surface of Mars. The object cast a distinct, geometric shadow on the terrain below, confirming it as a solid, immense structure. Immediately after transmitting this image, Phobos 2 fell permanently and inexplicably silent. Soviet officials, while acknowledging an anomalous situation, provided no satisfactory explanation, leading to widespread speculation that the probe was silenced to prevent further discovery. These are not isolated incidents. Over the years, NASA's various rovers and orbiters have captured a catalog of anomalies, unexplained orbs, disks, and other structured craft in the Martian sky. The official explanations, camera glitches, cosmic rays, or atmospheric debris, consistently fail to account for the structured appearance and controlled behavior of these objects. The evidence, pieced together across decades and from multiple sources, paints a compelling and unsettling picture. It suggests that Mars is not a dead world, but a place of interest. Something is there, and it has been watching our robotic emissaries, and perhaps us, for a very long time. In the closing hours of a seemingly ordinary day, the skies above Norwich, England, transformed into a theater of the unexplained. Across the city and the surrounding countryside, residents became unwitting witnesses to a silent, synchronized ballet. Multiple, vast triangular drones, their forms stark and structured, drifted noiselessly through the twilight. Their lights pulsed in an eerie, coordinated rhythm, hovering for impossibly long periods before darting away with startling speed. The mystery found its face when a photograph, posted to UFO Sightings UK Facebook group, ignited a firestorm of debate. The image, captured by a woman named Mary during an evening walk with her dog, was no grainy, indistinct blur. The sky was a canvas of deep purple and burnished gold as the sun retreated. And there, suspended at the center of the frame above the distant hills, was a luminous, craft-like form. A row of brilliant lights traced it underside, revealing a sharply defined, metallic structure that stood in stark, undeniable contrast to the fading day. This was no passing illusion. Mary recounted her story. A quiet country lane, a single, glimmering blue-white light on the horizon. She first dismissed it as a plane or helicopter, but the light grew, holding steady in the silence. When she raised her phone to focus, the truth of its shape emerged. A distinct triangle with a radiant central point and smaller lights arrayed beneath it in perfect symmetry. Her photograph spread like digital wildfire, drawing intense scrutiny from amateur researchers who had been piecing together an ongoing series of mysterious aerial sightings in the region. This was no isolated event. For some time, northern Norfolk and the skies above Norwich had been the focus of bizarre drone reports. Residents spoke of large, silent objects, often triangular or diamond-shaped, that loitered over fields and rural areas. Their presence was so unnerving that nearby airports had experienced temporary shutdowns after these unidentified vehicles strayed dangerously close to flight paths. No country or corporation ever stepped forward to claim them. Their persistence, advanced capabilities, and strange behavior fueled a growing suspicion that this was something far beyond standard technology. Mary's image stood out, not just for its clarity, but for its timing. On that very evening, a chorus of witnesses across East Anglia reported low-flying triangular formations moving in utter silence. Some described fast-moving jets circling at higher altitudes, seeming to monitor or even attempt to intercept the enigmatic craft below. The objects were described as enormous, smooth-skinned, and capable of sharp, impossible turns without a whisper of sound or visible propulsion. In some accounts, they hung motionless for hours before shooting straight up into clouds, vanishing in an instant. The plot thickened around sensitive locations. Throughout the year, similar drones were reported near military bases and, more alarmingly, in the vicinity of nuclear storage sites, areas protected by layers of radar and security. Yet, these objects seemed to go through defenses, seen only by the naked eye. Local researchers noted the craft could remain airborne for hours, far exceeding the battery life of any conventional drone, and demonstrated chilling precision, sometimes moving in formation or shadowing commercial airliners. The United Kingdom Civil Aviation Authority and Ministry of Defense maintained a stony silence. This official void only fed speculation. Were these advanced surveillance vehicles from a clandestine military branch? Or did their flight patterns, luminosity, and profound silence point to an origin not of this world? Mary's photograph, with its detailed symmetry and structured lighting, argued powerfully that the phenomenon over Norfolk was neither accidental nor random. The lights were evenly spaced, a geometric pattern of engineered precision. The central globe burned like a miniature star, while surrounding lights cast a cooler hue. The object's surface had a metallic texture, faintly reflecting the amber of the sunset. Analysts quickly ruled out simple explanations like lens flares or reflections. The lighting was consistent with a tangible, illuminated structure in the sky. When the image was denoised and enhanced, the features grew even more striking. Sharp, angular edges and faint gradients of blue light rippling along the surface, hinting at an active energy field or an exotic propulsion source. The clarity of its design convinced many that Mary had captured something profoundly real. Researchers were further intrigued by the connection to a wider pattern. Sightings of identical silent triangles have been logged near air bases in Scotland and over parts of Belgium and northern France. Each report echoed the same details. Large, slow-moving, luminous craft with no wings, propellers, or exhaust, challenging the very fundamentals of aeronautics. Then, the mystery escalated to a continental crisis. The incident at Copenhagen Airport remains one of the most unsettling aerial mysteries of recent memory. On the evening of September 22nd, the skies above northern Europe became a stage for disruption. What began as isolated reports of glowing green drones swiftly exploded into closure of two of Scandinavia's busiest airports, sowing fears of a deliberate campaign to cripple critical infrastructure. Over Copenhagen, witnesses reported strange, brilliant green lights, drones far larger and brighter than any civilian model. They hovered, unmoving, for over half an hour, some for an hour or more, their endurance defying belief. With 2 to 3 of these objects in the airspace, authorities took no chances. For nearly 4 hours, one of Europe's vital air hubs was shut down. Tens of thousands of passengers were stranded, and the disruption rippled across the continent. Almost simultaneously, Oslo Airport was forced to close its airspace for 3 hours after a similar unidentified drone was spotted. The parallels were chilling. The timing, the glowing green appearance, the immediate threat to air safety. For the first time in recent history, the busiest airports of Denmark and Norway were brought to a standstill on the same evening by unknown objects. For the public, the word drone felt inadequate. The glowing green color, the sustained hovering, and the coordinated appearances over multiple capitals suggested something far stranger. These were unidentified aerial phenomena. In the aftermath, European governments scrambled, discussing anti-drone technologies, jammers, radar, even birds of prey. But the scale of the incursions raised a terrifying question. Were these the actions of amateurs or a demonstration of a capability far beyond them? Against the backdrop of geopolitical tension, the drone swarms felt like a new front in a shadow war. A prime minister's warning that this fit a pattern of attacks and violations reflected the deep unease in government corridors. For the public, fascination persisted. Photographs and videos spread online, showing luminous orbs against the night sky, sometimes accompanied by smaller lights. Residents insisted they were too large, too steady, and too enduring to be ordinary. The events of that September may be remembered as a turning point, a moment the world realized that even its most secure airspace was vulnerable. The glowing green drones over Europe remain unexplained. Whether advanced drones, experimental technology, or something else entirely, Their presence has irrevocably altered our perception of safety in the skies. The closures were not just a disruption, but a chilling reminder that in a world of advanced technology and hidden tensions, the sky is no longer a sanctuary. As this drama unfolded, a new, parallel mystery was emerging, revealed from the shadows. When the hacking collective Anonymous speaks, the world listens. In a recent disclosure, they turned their attention to a series of mysterious events in the skies over the United States. Anonymous claims a significant increase in sightings of intense green laser beams over the past 12 months. But these are not mere light shows. The group alleges they are the visible signature of a new type of military weapon being tested in secret. Over the past year, reports have mounted of concentrated green beams slicing through the night, particularly in remote areas and near military installations. Witnesses describe them as impossibly intense, moving rapidly before vanishing. Unlike common red lasers, these are vastly more powerful, visible for great distances. Anonymous, citing Access Document and Communications, claims these lasers are part of a clandestine military project, a directed energy weapon designed to revolutionize warfare. The lack of official transparency has fueled widespread concern over the purpose and dangers of these tests. While green lasers are known in civilian fields, the scale and power of these suggest a military application. According to the leak, they may be part of a directed energy weapon system, a tool that uses concentrated energy to damage or destroy targets at the speed of light. The green color is chosen for its high visibility, ideal for tracking and measurement during testing. The implications are profound. The safety of civilians is paramount. There are already reports of pilots and drivers being temporarily blinded, risking catastrophic accidents. Geopolitically, perfecting such a weapon could trigger a new arms race. The secrecy undermines public accountability, and the environmental impact of deploying such energy-intensive systems is unknown. The revelations have sparked public demand for answers. Official responses have been predictably vague, citing national security, which has only deepened public mistrust. In the void, amateur theorists proliferate, some suggesting the lasers are for population control or are connected to extraterrestrial phenomena, reflecting the deep anxieties born from governmental secrecy. This phenomenon is not confined to the United States. Across the United Kingdom, residents are now reporting their own series of unexplained sightings. Bright green laser beams cut down from the darkness, sometimes striking the ground. Witnesses from rural areas to city outskirts describe the beams as unnervingly bright and concentrated, seeming to methodically scan the terrain as if searching for something. The consistency of these UK reports points to a coordinated phenomenon. The prevailing theory is a military one, that these lasers are tests of a directed energy weapon system by the UK or its allies. The impact on communities has been tangible, a mix of fascination and fear. Local authorities are inundated with reports, but official channels remain silent, eroding public trust and fueling speculation about cover-ups and hidden agendas. Whether a military experiment, a surveillance operation, or something more enigmatic, the public demand for transparency is growing. The potential risks of powerful lasers hitting the ground make clarity essential for safety and trust. For now, the green lasers over the UK remain a captivating and unsettling mystery. So, what exactly are these directed energy weapons at the heart of the speculation? Directed energy weapons are emerging as a pivotal advancement in modern defense, a radical departure from traditional artillery. These innovative armaments harness focused energy to neutralize targets with unparalleled precision and efficiency. Laser-based weapons are a key category, emitting highly focused beams of coherent light. Deployed on ground installations, aircraft, or even satellites, they can target missiles, aircraft, and drones with intense energy bursts. Their advantages are transformative. They engage at the speed of light, minimize collateral damage, and have a virtually limitless ammunition supply, drawing from internal power sources or external generators. This makes them ideal for prolonged, sustained operations. Another subset is high-powered microwave, HBM, weapons. These systems use electromagnetic radiation in the microwave spectrum to disrupt or incapacitate electronics. They can cripple communication systems, radar, and computer networks without causing physical destruction. HBM weapons can also serve in non-lethal roles, such as crowd control or perimeter defense, by emitting energy pulses that incapacitate without causing lasting harm, making them invaluable for minimizing casualties. Yet, for all their promise, these weapons face significant hurdles. A primary challenge is managing the intense thermal load generated by the energy beams, which can cause the weapon itself to overheat and fail. This demands the development of robust cooling systems and advanced materials capable of withstanding the extreme conditions of continuous operation. Overcoming these technical barriers is the key to unlocking their potential and reshaping the future of warfare. The enigma of the interstellar wanderer known as Oumuamua has deepened into a profound cosmic riddle. Fresh data from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, captured in the final days of October 2025, has revealed an event that defies celestial convention. As the object passed behind the sun, it did not simply swing around our star. It appeared to maneuver. This was no ordinary comet from a distant star. On October 29th, at its closest approach to the sun, Oumuamua exhibited what scientists term non-gravitational acceleration. Its trajectory was being altered by an unknown force, as if an invisible hand had gently, yet firmly, pushed it from its expected path. The data was precise and undeniable. A powerful radial acceleration pushing away from the sun, measured at 135 kilometers per day squared, coupled with transverse, sideways motion of 60 kilometers per day squared. The navigation engineer who reported the findings, Davide Farnokia, and the astrophysicist who analyzed them, Avi Loeb, present a picture of an object behaving against all known natural laws. The spontaneous movement was staggering. While comets can experience a slight rocket effect from vaporizing ice, the force observed here was orders of magnitude greater. It was as if Oumuamua had its own silent, unseen engine. Simultaneously, its behavior grew more bizarre. The object brightened nearly 7.5 times faster than any known comet as it approached the sun. And then its color changed. Instead of reddening like other comets, it turned a deep, impossible blue, bluer than the sun itself. This could indicate violent jets of ionized gas like carbon monoxide, or something far more speculative. Artificial illumination, the glow of a propulsion system from within. Loeb calculated that to explain this through natural means, Oumuamua would have had to violently shed 10% of its total mass in a single month, a cataclysm that should have left a massive, observable debris cloud. Yet none was seen. The precision of its movement seemed too controlled for a simple outgassing event. This non-gravitational maneuver was not an isolated oddity. Loeb cataloged it as the 9th major anomaly since the object entered our solar system. From its unexpected brightness in deep space, suggesting a reflective or self-illuminating surface, to its strange, sunward-pointing antitail that later flipped direction, Oumuamua consistently confounded. Its path wove a suspiciously precise course past 3 planets, and its spectral signature revealed an unnatural cocktail of nickel and carbon dioxide. When Loeb calculated the odds of all 9 anomalies occurring together by chance, the probability was a staggering 1 in 10 quadrillion. The evidence, he argued, demands we keep all possibilities on the table, no matter how extraordinary. The maneuver observed on October 29th may be the most crucial clue yet, a signature of natural processes beyond our understanding, or the first faint whisper technology from another star. This is not the first time our instruments have captured the unexplained. In 2014, the live camera feed from the International Space Station became a window into a moment of high strangeness. Viewers watched as a sleek, orange object moved with purpose against the black void of space. It approached the station not like drifting debris, but with deliberate intent. Then, at the very moment it seemed to make contact, the live feed was severed, plunging the screen into a void of solid blue. This pattern was familiar to dedicated stream watchers. Unidentified objects appear. NASA zooms in for a closer look, and the feed mysteriously cuts. It is a ritual that fuels endless speculation. Was this an authentic, unidentified aerial phenomenon, its capture a rare broadcast error, or merely a smudge on the lens, its banality prompting a routine camera reset? The astronauts themselves are often the most compelling witnesses. Their official mission logs and communications are punctuated with accounts of objects exhibiting controlled, intelligent movement. phenomena that execute maneuvers defying known physics. While NASA typically attributes these sightings to ice crystals or space debris, the first-hand testimonies of those who have lived in orbit carry a weight that official statements cannot easily dismiss. The fascination is global. The National UFO Reporting Center in the United States alone processes thousands of reports annually, a number replicated by research organizations worldwide. The skies are filled with unanswered questions. Just recently, over Kelowna, Canada, a routine morning was interrupted by a silent, burning mystery. A delivery driver pointed skyward, drawing a witness's gaze to an object trailing black smoke, its core burning a persistent, unsettling orange. It was not a meteor, said the experts at the H.R. McMillan Space Center. It was visible for too long. It was not satellite debris. No tracks were recorded. The local airport was baffled, their instruments blind to the phenomenon. This story repeats itself across the globe. Law enforcement officials, like one in England, have publicly shared photographs of similar objects, admitting their own investigations lead only to more confusion. No wreckage is ever found. No explanation is ever confirmed. These burning objects represent the pure, tantalizing core of the mystery, the unknown. They captivate us because they defy categorization, hinting at discoveries that could shatter our understanding of the universe and our place within it. From the U.S. government's own Project Blue Book, which left hundreds of cases unsolved, to the thousands of reports filed each year that vanish into a void of uncertainty. The pattern is clear. We are being visited by riddles, and the answers remain just out of reach. In 2013, a different kind of mystery surfaced, not in the sky, but on the side of a road. A user known as Tramp Top Dan shared a bizarre discovery. A box, found by a friend near Asheville, North Carolina, filled with intricate, haunting illustrations and documents. This collection, dubbed the Box of Crazy or the Ezekiel Box, was a window into a fractured psyche. The artwork, signed by one Daniel Samuel Christensen, revolved around a singular, profound event he called the Tampa Bay Obscuration, a visionary experience blending UFO encounter and divine revelation, framed through the lens of the biblical prophet Ezekiel. The illustrations depicted cosmic wheels within wheels and celestial chariots, a mad fusion of religious fervor and extraterrestrial contact. Christensen, who died in 1994, left behind a puzzle. How did his life's work, this archive of esoteric revelation, end up discarded on a roadside miles from his Florida home a decade after his death? The box contained not just his own writings, but some signed by a cryptic alter ego, Nesna Etsai, his own surname Christensen, spelled backward. The contents are a testament to the human mind's ability to weave grand, personal cosmologies from the threads of mystery. The Tampa Bay Obscuration remains an enigma within an enigma, a terrestrial event known only to one man, whose evidence is a collection of beautiful, unsettling, and utterly inexplicable art, a mystery of the inner world to mirror those in the skies above. A shadow fell across the International Space Station, and the world was watching. A recently surfaced photograph, ripped from a live video feed, shows a stark, triangular craft hanging in the void, a silent sentinel just kilometers from humanity's orbital outpost. Then the feed died. The transmission was severed not by cosmic interference, but by a deliberate click from the ground. This act, witnessed by thousands, has ignited a firestorm within the global community of UFO researchers, who see it not as a technical glitch, but as a calculated censorship, a deliberate blackout to hide an extraordinary encounter. The object itself is a study in unnerving precision. It held a fixed position relative to the station, a feat of impeccable control far beyond tumbling space debris or a passive satellite. Its form, a sleek black triangle, is hauntingly familiar, a ghost from 1,000 terrestrial sightings known as the Black Triangles. These craft are legendary for their silence, their impossible accelerations, and their defiance of known physics. Analysts are calling this one of the most compelling pieces of evidence, yet that human activity in space is under deliberate, intelligent surveillance. The timing of the blackout is the telltale heart of the cover-up. Why, at the very moment of peak clarity, would NASA kill the feed? This is not an isolated event, but pattern, a reflex to obscure the anomalous. The object silhouette has drawn inevitable comparisons to the most whispered-about black project of all, the TR-3B, a rumored anti-gravity aircraft born from reverse-engineered alien technology. If this is the TR-3B, its presence in low Earth orbit poses a profound question. What is a top-secret, Earthbound craft doing operating with such audacity in international space? Yet its flawless station-keeping and stealth suggest a technology so advanced, many believe it cannot be of human origin. This incident arrives as the veil of official denial is finally lifting. The Pentagon's own declassified videos feature similar tic-tac and triangular craft performing maneuvers that shatter our understanding of aerodynamics. This ISS encounter feels like a confirmation from on high, a signal that this phenomenon is not confined to our atmosphere. The station, a symbol of global cooperation and a springboard for deeper exploration, will be a prime target for any intelligence wishing to monitor our progress. The agency's standard explanations, space debris, ice crystals, camera artifact, ring hollow against the testimony of astronauts themselves who have reported unexplained objects with intelligent trajectories for decades. The repeated, suspicious silencing of the cameras fosters a single, inescapable conclusion. Someone is hiding the truth. For researchers, this is both validation and infuriation. Another crucial data point seized and locked away. If this craft is not ours, the implications are universe-altering. What is its purpose? Mere observation, or something more involved? Its silent vigil suggests a patience that spans centuries, a presence that may have always been there, waiting for us to reach into the void so it could get a closer look. This event has amplified the demand for transparency to a roar. The public has a right to know what shares our orbit. For now, the mystery preserved in that single, frozen frame, a perfect black triangle against the blue marble of Earth, a silent question mark that was deemed too dangerous for the world to see. For decades, a specific and terrifying silhouette has haunted the skies of our planet. The Black Triangle. Eyewitness accounts from every continent paint a consistent picture of these behemoths, vast, silent, and capable of feats that belong in science fiction. They are the phantoms of the UFO phenomenon, and they operate under a different set of physical laws. Their most defining characteristic is an impossible stillness. These craft, some reported to be the size of football fields, can hang motionless in the air, defying gravity without a whisper sound, without the roar of engines or the downdraft of propulsion. They hover over interstate highways, silent cities, and sensitive military installations with an unnerving observational patience. Then, in an instant, they transform from statues to shooting stars, accelerating to hypersonic speeds without a sonic boom, vanishing into the upper atmosphere in the blink of an eye. This silent, effortless mastery of motion points to a propulsion system that is utterly alien to us. But their stealth is not merely aerial, it is electronic. They are ghosts to radar. Pilots and air traffic controllers have visually confirmed these massive objects, only see their radar screens remain obstinately blank. It is as if the craft are wrapped in a bubble that bends electromagnetic waves around them, a cloaking technology that renders our most advanced detection systems useless. When compared to rumored human-made Black Project aircraft, the differences are stark. Our most secretive prototypes, while advanced, are still bound by the tyranny of physics. They cannot hover indefinitely, execute perfect right-angled turns at thousands of miles per hour, or accelerate from 0 to Mach 10 instantaneously. The Black Triangles do all of this and more. Their sheer scale alone beggars belief. The energy required to keep such a mass aloft silently is beyond any known power source. The consistent silence from official channels speaks volumes. Are these craft a product of a decades-long, ultra-secret reverse engineering program? A technology so profound it must be hidden at all costs? Or does the truth point elsewhere, to a non-human intelligence, conducting a long-term survey of our planet from behind an invulnerable veil of superiority? Their repeated appearances near nuclear facilities and population centers suggest a deep, strategic interest. They are not just passing through. They are watching, cataloging, and understanding. They are a mystery that flies in the face of reality as we know it, challenging not just our technology, but our very place in the cosmos. In September 2018, the skies over New Mexico went dark for science. The Sunspot Solar Observatory, a vital eye on our sun, was abruptly evacuated by federal agents. The official explanation was a tourist security issue, but the truth, it seemed, was written in the sky. For this was not an isolated incident. Across the globe, a network of 6 other solar observatories, from the mountains of Spain to the plains of Australia, went dark in eerie synchrony. As the world wondered, an amateur astronomer named Maria trained her filtered telescope on the setting sun. What she captured would send a shockwave through the community. There, poised near the solar inferno, was a colossal disc-shaped craft of unmistakable metallic construction. It was not alone. Swarming around it were hundreds of smaller objects, moving in a coordinated, intelligent ballet. Maria's photographs, sharp and undeniable, went viral. They presented a terrifying and magnificent spectacle. A mothership and its fleet operated with impunity at temperatures that would vaporize any human-made material. The timing was not merely suspicious. It was a symphony of coincidence so perfectly orchestrated it defied random chance. The theory did not just form. It crystallized with the sharp, cold clarity of a mathematical proof. As news of the simultaneous global observatory blackout spread from New Mexico to Spain, Australia to Hawaii, a single, inescapable conclusion locked into place. This was not a series of unrelated security incidents. This was a coordinated, planetary-scale information quarantine. The global network of solar observatories, our species' collective cornea trained upon our life-giving star, had detected something. Not a solar flare or a coronal mass ejection, but an armada, an organized, technological presence approaching our sun, and the authorities, in a moment of unified panic, had pulled the plug. The shutdowns were not a precaution. They were a deliberate, desperate blackout. A curtain slammed down just as the first act of an incomprehensible cosmic drama was beginning. What did they see that warranted such an extreme and globally obvious reaction? The official silence was a vacuum, and nature, especially human nature, abhors a vacuum. Into that void stepped the evidence. Amateur astronomer Maria's photographs were not the grainy, ambiguous blobs of typical UFO lore. They were stark, high-resolution, and terrifyingly lucid. They showed a primary craft of a disc-shaped, classic archetype, but on a scale that dwarfed human comprehension. Its metallic hull, reflecting the sun's inferno, was not pitted and scarred but appeared seamless, a perfect geometric form. And it was not alone. The hundreds of smaller objects were not a random cloud of debris. Analysts who later pored over images described their formation as a swarm intelligence or a dynamic defense perimeter. They moved in complex, interlacing patterns, sometimes merging to form larger temporary structures, sometimes darting away at impossible velocities, all while maintaining a precise geometric relationship to the mothership. This was not a natural phenomenon. This was a display of coordinated, technological purpose. The skeptics' refrain of camera artifacts, or lens flare, crumbled against the sheer weight of this visual data. The story the images told was one of technology so advanced it could not only travel the void between stars, but could also operate with impunity in the most violent and energetic environment in our solar system, the corona of a star. They weren't just near the sun, they were harnessing it. Some researchers pointed to the object trajectories, which often seemed to align with magnetic flux tubes and plasma loops, as if they were riding, or perhaps even siphoning, the raw power of the sun itself. This breathtaking hypothesis finds profound and unsettling support not in blurry amateur videos, but deep within the archives of one of humanity's most trusted scientific instruments, NASA's own Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, SOHO. For over 2 decades, this unblinking eye has streamed a torrent of data on solar activity. Yet, for almost as long, a dedicated cadre of civilian researchers has been scouring this public data, uncovering a catalog of anomalies that NASA consistently, and often dismissively, attributes to cosmic ray hits, telemetry errors, or saturated pixels. But the patterns defy simple dismissal. The objects captured by SOHO are not random speckles. They are often massive. Some estimates, based on their scale against the sun, suggest sizes ranging from planetary to lunar dimensions. They appear as spherical or disc-shaped constructs, some exhibiting a consistent internal structure, like concentric rings or geometric patterns on their surface. Most damningly, they move with what can only be described as deliberate trajectories. They are observed making calculated course corrections, executing graceful parabolic arcs around solar prominences, and in several startling sequences, appearing to enter and exit the sun's photosphere. They do not behave like inanimate objects caught in the sun's gravity. They behave like craft piloted or guided by intelligence. To dismiss this entire body of evidence as instrumental error is to suggest that SOHO, a pinnacle of human engineering, is perpetually and specifically glitching in ways that perfectly mimic structured, intelligently controlled vehicles. The implications of this are not merely staggering. They are foundational, threatening to rewrite our understanding of physics, biology, and our place in the cosmos. If these objects are real, the technology they represent exists on a godlike tier. To withstand the sun's fury is a feat beyond any known material science. The corona simmers at millions of degrees Kelvin. Solar flares release energy equivalent to billions of nuclear bombs. Any craft operating there would require a form of shielding that doesn't just resist heat, but somehow negates it, perhaps through manipulation of local spacetime or a form of quantum-level heat dissipation. Their maneuvers, instantaneous accelerations and right-angled turns in a sea of plasma, suggest a propulsion system that nullifies inertia and masters gravity itself. This isn't just faster-than-light travel. It is a command over the fundamental forces of the universe that renders our concepts of physics provincial, even quaint. This forces a radical reevaluation of the sun itself. For all of human history, it has been our engine, our God, our timekeeper. But to this observed presence, it may be something else entirely, a destination, a navigational beacon, or a resource depot. Perhaps it is a gateway, a stable wormhole, or a dimensional portal maintained by the star's immense gravitational energy. Perhaps these craft are not from another star in the conventional sense, but use our sun as one node in a vast interstellar transit network. The synchronized panic silencing of Earth's solar observatories suggests that the individuals and agencies with the highest security clearances on the planet have seen data that supports this terrifying new paradigm. They know the global blackout was a reflexive act of control, an attempt to manage a truth too paradigm shattering for public consumption. It is a silence that screams their own terrified uncertainty. They are not protecting us from panic. They are protecting their own understanding of reality from collapse. And so, we are left in the shadow of their silence, gazing up at a sun that is no longer just a star, but a screen upon which the magnificent and terrifying truths of a populated cosmos are playing out a mere 93 million miles away, a distance that has suddenly become terrifyingly, intimately close.